Hi, so I wanted to talk to you guys in this video about just some tips and tricks I've learned. There's a lot of little things that I think some would be helpful. We'll talk about diapers and sleeping. This will maybe be a little bit of a longer video. I'll try not to be so all around, all over the place, but you guys have seen some of my other videos and you know that I'm probably not able to control much of that. Little guy's sleeping right now. So I guess let's talk about feeding tips and tricks first. I try a variety of different bottles. This isn't the Medela one. I didn't pump, but I do have these bottles. They work really good. Anything that has a little slant to it, I really like. But the big thing is whenever you're holding your bottles, you want to hold them. So, like, see here how half of it is empty. I stop here or even sooner than that, and we are spilling a little bit, but that's okay. I may even stop a little bit sooner than that, just so that he doesn't get any air bubbles. That's the big thing we're really wanting to do. No air bubbles. And I try to sit him upright if I can, and I burp him every half an ounce. He does not always burp every half an ounce, but because he is such an aggressive feeder, our doctor recommended we just slow down his feeding, so every half an ounce to take a little break. He may cry, may get a little upset, and continue to demand food, but that's okay. Just slow him down, or use pacifier, or let him suck on your finger in between if you need to. Those are really good, just feeding help, I would say. And then after you're done feeding, I know this time is not always there for it, but if you have the time, hold him upright if possible. This little guy loves to just like slump into me, so I'm kind of letting him do that right now in the video. But if you do notice their breathing started to be a little more deep or just loud, go ahead and try to move their neck so that it's not blocking their airway or causing just difficulty for them to breathe. So those are our big feeding tips. Also, I use the bottles in the fridge, the Similac ready to feed. The 32-ounce bottles, they last me a day or two right now. Well, probably about a day, maybe a little more if he doesn't eat quite as much. He's right now eating 4 ounces a meal about 8 times a day. I don't know if he sleeps through a meal sometimes. That's why I say it may last through tomorrow just for one feeding. Our pediatrician said, think of it as you would have a glass of milk. Those say once you've poured it out, this is trash in an hour. Formula is really expensive though. And our pediatrician pretty much told us that if you would have a glass of milk and put it back in the fridge and have it later in an hour or two, it's probably safe for him. So just kind of use your judgment and always talk to your own pediatrician for recommendations. Don't just go off of what I say, please. I am not a doctor. I always try to say that. I don't necessarily have the answers. I'm just sharing the information I've learned and I found to be helpful. So he's kind of sitting upright right now. We're trying to just keep him up. I'll probably keep him up for another 10-15 minutes before I lay him down. And then I do kind of just monitor for a little bit after he eats just to make sure that he doesn't have any spit up or choking. They still can choke. There's a greater risk for aspiration, so we have to be careful. I keep bulb syringes around. I don't really use them religiously. I did it at first. The first couple weeks they were really helpful because I felt like he had a lot less control, but keep a bulb syringe in a couple of rooms, a couple of places where he naps, just so if you did come in there and there was spit up everywhere and just for your own sake you would easily get it out of him really quickly. Make sure those are cleaned all the time. Let's talk about some diaper tips. Diapers have been a big challenge for me. I just feel like always feel like they're too tight or too loose. And whenever you put them on in public, it seems like everyone's watching you to make sure you're doing it the right way, or just even if they're not, you just feel like they are. So with diapers, the big thing for us is we're using Vaseline still since our little guy had a circumcision. It's just about healed, but we're continuing to do it until the pediatrician gives us the go-ahead to stop. You put that in the front of it. But big thing for me is before you take off that other diaper, get the first one, the new fresh one, under him. If you do think it is a number 2 diaper, keep his legs up higher. Hold his legs up, both of his feet, so that you're not then getting the new diaper all dirty once you pull off the old diaper. You're going to use the diaper that he has on to clean up as much as you can on him. And do make sure if, even if it's just pee, still wipe him off. It's still dirty. You would wipe yourself, like take care of your baby the way you would take care of yourself. Big things you're looking for though is always checking for any sort of diaper rash, treat it immediately, or signs of redness. Oh, little guy, he's yanking on my hair. That's okay though. You want to make sure you're always in the right size. Our little guy's probably 8.5 pounds now, so He is just starting to outgrow newborn in certain brands. They're not all the same. It's not cut and dry. Make sure things you're looking for are, is there redness or does it seem tight? Can you fit 2 fingers into the top by the belly? Is it sitting under the belly button? And can you loosely fit your fingers around the legs to get the little exterior, they've got a lining by the legs that you want to make sure you get out every time. That will keep some of your blowouts in the diaper, which is really awesome. So that's our diaper tips. I change mine, or check mine, probably check his every 2 to 3 hours, just because he doesn't like to be wet, and why would you? You really want to keep a close eye on that. Some other tips and tricks just for like sleeping. First for bedding, I'd say I have tons of the Walmart, I think it's Parent's Choice. I'll look for it and give you guys a link. The Parent's Choice mats, dry mats, they are awesome. They come in 3 sizes in the pack. One big one, which I keep for the crib. And then I've got the other 2 sizes. One's really small, which fits great into his pack and play bassinet and his rock and play and his swing. And then there's another middle size, which is pretty large. I cut those to whatever I need. Like if it's for the car seat, which I don't put very much in the car seat. That's all I put in there. Or just put them everywhere. I keep one on the crib on top of the sheets, not under, so that you're not changing sheets in the middle of the night all the time. I make sure they're always laid flat. And I keep his head up toward the top of it. And if he does spit up and I need to just move him down, I can do that so he's not sitting and spit up all night and you're not changing those every 5 minutes, because there's a lot of a mess all the time. And then I always keep just a blanket swaddled him there too, so sometimes just the swaddle will get messed up. I do love these sleepers too. If depending on the temperature of your house, this may actually be all you need. It's got his feet covered, and then he has some that cover his hands, but he really loves his hands free. I keep his nails done. I file them every 2 to 3 days. So I don't really have a need to use gloves or cover his hands at night. He loves to touch his face and reach and touch things. So I feel like let his hands be free as long as it's not cold or it's not hurting him. Other sleeping tips though, my little guy is now sleeping maybe 5 to 6 hours a night in a row. And that is considered through the night now. That's really exciting for me. I normally feed him, at least I try to feed him an hour before bed, if not 2 hours sometimes. I give him the full 4 ounces, and then I keep him upright, and then we send him to his crib, or I might put him in a sleeper for 30 minutes before and then transfer him to the crib. Big thing I do is I always change his outfit and change his diaper right before bed, and I try to change it on either his changing table or on the changing table portion of the pack and play, so that he's not changed near his crib, or like even if you're just going to change the outfit, don't change in his crib. You want that to be a calm, peaceful place. So I put him in his bed, and I've got a soother, which I love. It's this little thing that attaches to the just the rails on the crib on the outside, so he can't get to it, but it vibrates the mattress a little bit, so it kind of replicates some of the swings and things that he really likes. I put it on the lowest setting, and I don't use it all the time. Just every once in a while, maybe if he's really having some trouble. But it was $15, I think. Really easy, great investment. So have that. And the big things we did initially are we put him on a schedule. His feedings is on a schedule every 3 hours, almost to the minute. And we try to make sure he gets exactly what he needs, burp him, keep him up, and just stick with your schedule. Always stick with your schedule. If you do go off, like the other night, I think we were up till 2 a.m. and I was really fearful that we messed up his schedule. He still slept for 6 hours. It was no problem. But just kind of jump back into that schedule as quick as possible. He'll sleep for 5 to 6 hours, and then I feed him and I give him his diaper change or whatever he needs, and then put him back to bed. Then he'll maybe sleep for 3 hours that second round there. And then again, wake him up, change his diaper, change his clothes if needed, feed him, and then put him back to bed in his crib for one more time. I'm not going to let him sleep for 3 hours for this one, but this is a good time for mom. Normally that hits around 7, 8, or 9 for me, depending on what schedule I'm on at that point. But that's your time where you can feed your dogs, make sure you get your breakfast. If you're a coffee drinker, I'm not, but if you are, this is a perfect time for your alone time, glass of coffee or a cup of coffee, start your laundry, start your dishes, and get your shower. If you hear him cry, that's okay. He is a baby. They make noises. If you have a video monitor, that's awesome, or an audio monitor, that's great too. I have a Ring camera set up on my little guy. I love it. We use it a lot, which is great. But if you don't have that, like I said, audio option's perfect too. On my Pack and Play, I've got an audio option as well. I have a video, but I don't always look at it. I just use the audio. But no, those are really helpful. So I'd say keep those schedules. And when he cries, I let him cry for up to 10 minutes. Per my pediatrician said it would be fine. So he'll cry for up to 10 minutes. And then say he cries for 3 minutes. Start that 10 minutes again. He cries for 2 minutes and then takes a little break. Start the 10 minutes again. Once this has happened 3 times, I do check on him. So I guess let's say he cries for 2 minutes, stops. Cries for 3 minutes, stops. That's 5 minutes. And then he cries for another full 10 minutes. I'll go see him. So that's maybe 15, 20 minutes about time you're going to get there. You can get your shower in that time. And he's going to be a little upset, but he's a baby and he's got to learn to self-soothe. I'd say 90% of the time, my little guy will cry for 10 minutes or a couple minutes and 10 minutes solid. But by the time that third mark is up, he's fast asleep. He self-soothes very well. I do give him with a pacifier sometimes. I'm okay with that, especially at this age. It's not going to cause open bite at this age. I'm a speech therapist, and I'm not concerned about that. But like I said, you're going to have to let him cry. It's not fun, Mom, but you can do it. We are now 3 weeks and 2 days. And like I said, my little guy is doing 5.5 to 6 hours. So through the night, I'm getting my sleep. And when we are up, we're shooting to only be up at that middle of the night for maybe 30 to 45 minutes. We're not looking to be up and rocking him and crazy till he gets back to sleep. I change his diaper first when I wake him up in the middle of the night. I do not turn the lights on. I use night lights in our room. I've got one pretty big night light, one in the wall, and then I have these magnetic lights that I've kind of put throughout the room where if I need to use them, I use them. One's over my changing table and one's over the crib, so if you need to have a little extra light, that gives you extra light. But I do not turn on the big ceiling fan lights. I don't open the windows. I try to keep it nice and calm in there. When I do get him, though, I would change his diaper first because that's the most upsetting thing. He hates diaper changes and clothing changes. So change his diaper first. And then I bring him over to the couch or to the rocker and feed him. I normally start at the couch, feed him, like I said, burping him every half an ounce. We go pretty quickly. I just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 10 and then rubs back and do it again. He burps really well. He did not at first. Just kind of taking a lot of practice. Do whatever you got to do for burping. You may need it up on the shoulder or on the back or sit straight, more head support. There's a lot of different things you can do. But for him, so back on track here. Once you've got him burped and you're almost done, for my last half ounce, I go over to the rocker. Or if you don't have a rocker, just start giving a little more love and rocking. Maybe some shh and kind of calm him down and get him understanding that we're getting back to bed soon. Just change whatever you're doing from the other 3 ounces of feeding up to something different. So like I said, he can start to learn cues of we're almost done, we're going to go to bed soon. Even if he's still a little upset, like he may not be asleep when I put him back in the crib, I put him back in there and rub on his head a little bit. My little guy loves that. Or rub his cheeks real softly a little bit, just a couple fingers here. Give him a pacifier if he needs. And his eyes may be wide awake, he may be wide open, just still there. But I will just swaddle him, say shh a couple times. Maybe this is a good time to use that little thing that might vibrate the mattress a little bit, the soother. I put that on low, and then I leave the room. And then we start that whole process of letting him cry it out for about 10 minutes. Normally, like I said, goes to bed after about 10 minutes. He's not always happy. He does a lot of tossing and turning. But he'll go to bed. And I don't feel like this is him not communicating with us. Because, like I said, I'm a speech therapist. I understand that communication is very important. And him understanding he can depend on us. We started this around 2 weeks old. We didn't, or, gosh gracious, no. We started this around maybe during the first week. Yeah, toward the end of the first week we started doing this. And the pediatrician said it would be just fine. So we keep up with him, and then during the day, I let him sleep on his in a different area, not in the crib. I may let him take one daytime nap in the crib, but the rest of the naps he takes are either in a swing or on in the pack and play. We use it a lot. Or maybe I take him for a walk in his stroller and he sleeps there. He sleeps in the car if somebody comes to pick me up and take me somewhere, since I'm still not able to drive. Almost. But those are, let him sleep in different places. It's really helpful. Maybe he sleeps in your arms for a little bit like he's doing now. I'm definitely keeping him up a little bit longer than I normally would. But he's so cute and I'm going to cuddle him. When he's awake, big thing you can do to let him know that you're here for him, just pick him up randomly. No reason at all. Just pick him up, walk him around the house, talk to him, and love on him. I know lots of people focus on tummy time. You can do that, but don't let that be your only time that you're interacting with him other than sleeping or putting him down for a nap. Make sure that you're at some point during the day picking up your baby just to hold him when he's awake and talking to him and letting him know that you love him and you're here for him. Check his diapers often too. Doing that's just good interaction. If his diaper is dry, just giggle, stick your tongue out at him, or giggle and laugh with him, and just try to love on him then. Give him kisses and love, and just use that as a good communication interaction experience for him. Those are some of the biggest tips and tricks I can think of. Oh, biggest thing for us. We are not one of those houses that keeps things quiet. I have 2 dogs, 2 goats that are right outside my window, and this little guy. And my husband and I are very loud. Well, okay, change that. My husband's quiet. I'm very loud. My family, when they come over, they're very loud. So a big thing we did was we never did that whole, shh, baby sleeping. Shh. No, we're very loud around him. We use power tools. We play music. We put him next to the TV. Not loud enough to hurt his hearing. We're not going to do that to damage his ears. But we do not keep down the noise. The dogs bark. Right now, my dogs are sleeping. They're normally up and barking at the window, barking at the mailman or anything. I quiet them for my own sanity, but I do not quiet them for the baby. If we have a lot of family over, I'll actually put him in some sort of carrier or something almost in the middle of the room so that he is just surrounded by that noise and communication input. He's learning words or not learning them yet, but he is being exposed to words and exposed to voices and communication. He's interacting with people. Even if he's sleeping, he's still hearing that, and just he's getting a lot of feedback, which I really appreciate. And we can wake up and walk around the house and he does not stir, he does not wake up, noise does not bother him. We've taken him to restaurants in the first week, covered, of course. We're not going to let anybody interact with him and cough on him or anything like that until he hits 6 weeks. We're really keeping him kind of under wraps, but I still want him to hear that noise. Like Cinco de Mayo, we put him in his carrier, covered it up so nobody could get to him, and put him in a high chair, in the car seat high chair, and brought him to a very loud restaurant. We did not go on Cinco de Mayo. I changed that. We went the day before so that we didn't have the crazy drunk loud crowd that could possibly knock him off of his car seat. But we did go with the very loud music. They had no live band that day, and just give him a lot of noise, and he sleeps through most of it, which is awesome. Like you can see, I'm talking a lot right in his ear, and if the dogs were barking right here, he wouldn't even jump. So that is my biggest tip I can tell you, is make some noise. Keep it loud, let your baby be exposed to noise, and you won't have a problem. Oh, one more feeding tip. Don't warm your bottles. I changed that if you're breastfeeding. If you're breastfeeding, you want to kind of replicate that. If you transfer into bottles, it will help you. But if you are a formula feeder, just never give them a warm bottle. It's extra work for you that is pretty much unnecessary. Our guy eats room temperature, as he did in the hospital, with the ready to feed, or he drinks cold. We don't do warm. We've never given him warm. If he was sick, maybe you might want to try that. But if he's not sick, there's no reason to warm that bottle. So those are my big tips and tricks. I think that they're really helpful. They've done wonders for us. And we ride in the car with no problem. Don't be afraid to take them places. Just get him out there. Do what you got to do. Just cover him up until about 6 weeks. But definitely, put your baby in the car. Get your baby used to everything. Take your baby for walks if you can. The most exposure is the best exposure, so go for it. Enjoy them. Bye, guys.